Greetings, programs. NeoMegaMan back again for another episode of Let's Play Katawa Shoujo Rin's Path. Episode 11, and we're already into Act 3. So, now, on with the show. I asked you a question, Nakai. I shake my head to fend off the dazedness. The teacher's looking at me, as is everyone else in the class. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What's the distance between... Never mind, different question. Why are you here, in this class? To, learn about physics? Yes, well, no, but that's the answer I wanted to hear. To acquire knowledge is the secondary reason for you being in the school. The primary one is to learn the rules of society, the norms and ethics that govern your everyday life. You don't come to school for the classes, you come to interact with the other people there, your classmates who are your equals, and the teachers who are your superiors. You learn how to form social contacts and maintain them. In other words, how to be a part of society. The school itself is a microcosm of the entire society. Locke was the one who realized that, you know? School's not just a place for learning, and of all the kids your age, you guys should know that better than anyone else. He pauses for a moment and lets his eyes sweep over the class to see if the message sunk in. At the very least, it shut everyone up and got them to focus on him, captivated either by his voice or the sudden change of topic from physics to the philosophy of education. However, my classes, as you so aptly put, are a place for learning about physics. He points at me with the piece of chalk he's holding. So no sleeping during class. Got it, Nakai? Yes, sir. From the corner of my eye, I catch Shizune's scowl and Misha's barely contained giggle and sink deeper into my seat. After classes end, I'm the last one to leave the classroom. I close the door behind me and quietly make my way to the art room. Oh boy. Club time passes in relative peace and quiet. I sit in my usual seat next to Rin, but she doesn't seem to be in a talkative mood. She's even more distant than usual. Today we're going to draw a still life, and get to choose from either a vase full of fake flowers or an arrangement of rocks, sticks, and canvas. The teacher encourages us to gather around the preferred motif, emphasizing perspective, texture, and lighting as the key points of this exercise. I look at Rin to see if she prefers one subject over the other, but she just tilts her head, signifying nothing. The club members quickly shuffle their chairs around the classroom to get closer to either the vase or the clutter. Rin and I both picked a flower vase, but only one of us seems to do any work. She's ignoring Nomiya's assignment just like she suddenly started ignoring me, and has been doodling something idly with her foot, not even really looking at what she's drawing. I try to catch her gaze, but she's looking out the window. It's making me uneasy. Rin almost looks like she's asleep with the way she's leaning back against the chair with her legs resting easily on the desk. She's now completely given up on the drawing. The more I try to relax, ignore her, and just be myself, the more it feels like I should ask if something's wrong. After club activities are over and the others have filed out, Rin gets up from her seat and marches over to Nomiya with unusual determination. I will do it. Nomiya, who is humming to himself while sorting a box of pencils by hardness, turns around with a mixed expression of friendliness and incomprehension on his face. What will you do, my girl? The gallery person. I could talk with that person. At least yesterday I thought I could. And today too. I think. I want to try it. I'm going to go all the way. The whitest smile I've ever seen on any person's face lights up the teacher's features. Teacher's features. He's almost literally beaming. Oh, wonderful. I'd almost lost hope. Such a hard-headed girl you are. But I knew that sooner or later you'd understand as well. I will call my good friend Sayonji and arrange a meeting. You need to show her your work so she can estimate it. I've told her about you, but obviously you should talk face to face. This is so exciting, isn't it? Nomi is talking more to himself than to us and walking in circles around his desk, waving his hands wildly all the while. He picks up his cell phone from the breast pocket of his jacket and flips it open with a stylish movement, starting to look for the number to call. While he searches, he notices me staring and gives a beaming thumbs up. I shrug back at him, doing my best not to look smug. Nomiya finds the number and makes the call, turning away from us and lowering his voice once it goes through. Even so, I can hear his excited tone. The call doesn't last long. Fabulous! Sae is at the gallery right now, and she said we could stop by right away if that's fine. This is most excellent. Do you have some kind of portfolio to show, Rin? She just shakes her head at the question, albeit looking a mite surprised. Never fear. I've taken some photos of your paintings. We can bring those and maybe a couple originals with us. Those will be quite sufficient for now. There should be some recent ones around here in the back, right? He pulls out a folder full of photos out of a desk drawer, and then charges towards the back where there's a small storage room and extra cabinets for all the materials and tools the art classes in Glove use. Mouthful. He soon finds what he was looking for, and crudely wraps two of Rin's painting in some brown packing paper. Nakai, would you carry these to my car? I pick up the two oil paintings. They aren't heavy, but they do make navigation somewhat cumbersome as I follow Nomi and Rin to the parking lot. Hey, check it out, the only time we ever see the friggin' faculty parking lot. And this is an American parking lot. See that right there? That's a Chevrolet HHR. That's a car that was never released outside of the US, at least not with the Chevy branding. Anyway, enough of my nerdery about cars. Nomiya has a pretty nice car. Not something I'd expect of a high school teacher to drive. I wonder what kind of salaries they earn at Yamaku. The canvases are stuffed into the trunk where they just barely fit. At the teacher's over-enthusiastic prompting, I get in the car along with them. Rin answers my questioning stare with a confirming nod and a nonchalant shrug. I guess I've become sort of an assistant for her now. Nomiya doesn't go light on the pedal. The smooth ride takes just about 10 minutes to bring us to the city center, where we pull into a tiny parking lot and get out of the car. 10 minutes? Really? Wow. You'd be boogieing. I pick up the paintings again, looking around. It's just like any city in Japan, really. Same style of buildings, people hurrying here and there, office workers sweating in their suits in the summer heat. Wide, tree-lined streets aren't something you see everywhere, though. Maybe they're this city's specialty. It definitely has that feel of a city, which I thought I'd already forgotten. I feel immediately comfortable walking around. I haven't actually been here before. No? In that case, it's about time. It's a great city. Lots of wonderful folk around here. And most important of all, a vibrant cultural life. Ah, Sae's place is just around the corner. The 22nd corner. After turning around 3 more corners, Nomiya stops in front of the door. There is the nameplate in big red letters over it. 22nd corner. Is this really the 22nd corner? Of what? That's bothering me too. I mean, where to start counting and which way do you count? Rin gets worked up over the strangest things. Unlike me, Nomiya ignores her completely and pushes the door open. The gallery is very clean looking, and the air conditioning makes it very cool and very comfortable. The white walls and big windows facing onto the busy street make the whole place feel airy and bright. There's nobody around who I can see, however. Most of the floor space is empty, with only a few large tables and a counter for furniture. There are paintings too, of course. A poster advertises an exhibition for an artist I've never heard of. Most of his work seems to be portraits or landscapes done in a more traditional style than Rin's abstraction. Summoned by the bell on the door, a lady who looks maybe around Nomiya's age, or younger, comes from around the corner. She's dressed in a sharp suit, her straight dark hair in a perfect ponytail behind her head, her bangs in some sort of weird anime arrangement. A pair of flashy, expensive-looking eyeglasses frame her eyes. On second glance, I'm not so sure of her age anymore. She looks old, and yet not actually old. Sae, hello. She clearly recognizes the teacher, greeting him warmly. Oh, there you are, Shinichi, and so quickly. I take it these two are your students? Indeed. Let me introduce you. This is Rin Tezuka, the one I spoke to you about, and this healthy-looking lad over there is Hisao Nakai. She takes a long, hard look at both of us, especially Rin. Feels like we're being evaluated. The worth of some abstract kind is being calculated for us. Her eyes linger for a long time on Rin. On her eyes, her empty sleeves tied in knots, her posture. Sae takes her first impression of Rin with an intensity I've not seen used by anyone else before. Once finished, she smiles amiably. Pleased to meet you both. My name is Sae Sayonji, and I'm the owner of this gallery. Could I maybe offer you some tea? Oh, no, thank you. We're fine. Let's get down to business. I lay the paintings on the tabletop to give the gallery owner a better view, and Nomiya pulls out his folder of photos. The old lady studies Rin's works carefully, absent-mindedly brushing her cheek with her fingers while letting her gaze sweep over the paintings. Her eyes remind me of a bird of prey of some sort. They're so sharp and somehow very calculating. She takes her time, slowly going over the paintings in order without uttering a single word. Even the teacher looks very nervous. He tries to point out certain details and other things about Rin's work, but it seems like she's not listening. While Nomiya and I keep looking at Sae, trying to look for some hint of reaction on the gallery owner's face, Rin lets her gaze wander around the gallery space. Suddenly, she pipes up. Is this really the 22nd corner? Sae raises her gaze from the paintings to look at Rin, but doesn't answer. Probably for the best. She takes stock of Rin's slouchy posture and her dreamy eyes that are again moving restlessly about. The way Rin seems to be detached from a situation that's supposed to be very important for her annoys me just a little. I'm practically holding my breath here. After Sae has gone through all of Nomiya's photos and inspected the 2 oil paintings I hauled here, she goes through all the material again, this time at a quicker pace. Finally, she gives her verdict. I like it. Though if you don't mind my saying, you're still a bit immature. Searching for your own direction, perhaps? She picks up one of the photos. Still, just look at this. I just can't take my eyes off it. Like a kitten playing around. That's what your art makes me feel, young lady. Thank you, I think. Nobody has ever said that before, I think. That's all that Rin has to say. Something about what the gallery owner says and how she says it makes it sound patronizing to me, but I hold my tongue. Anyway, what a wonderful imagination, though, isn't it? I've always said that Tezuka has a great eye for composition and color harmony, and technique. Remember, all these are done with their feet. Of course, we'd need to put some of the simpler ones on display, too, for the lay people. Right, Sae? Teacher snorts derisively. You know how those Philistines are. What do they understand about real art? They'd just be at a loss with the abstractions and themes here. But it'll generate more publicity, and that's good, isn't it? Sae smiles gently at Nomiya's remark and turns back to the paintings. I wonder. To tell you the truth, I just don't know if all this makes an exhibition. Even if I like it, I don't get the feel of a theme, of cohesion. There's no oeuvre, and really, who would expect such from a young artist like the kitten here? Oh, no. It's definitely doable, especially if we get a few new pieces and touch up some old ones. I don't mind painting more. I'll do anything. I see Rin looks worried there. It's a bit of a stretch. Trust me, I wouldn't have come to you if I didn't believe Tezuka was ready. You can see it too, can't you? I know exactly what her kind is capable of, and you know too. Those words give the gallerist lady a pause. A hollow, bottomless look takes over her eyes for a moment, as if she was looking through or maybe past Nomiya. She says nothing, but her mouth becomes a tight, flat line, as if stretched. Finally, the moment passes. Is that what you're saying? That's what I'm saying. Sae sighs and takes a few steps, walking in a circle as if to help organize her thoughts. She takes another look at the photo of the painting she particularly liked, the one that made her call Rin a kitten. She places a hand over her mouth, lost for words. After a few moments, she shakes her head. I don't know what to say. After seeing you, dear, and these paintings of yours, would you excuse us for a moment? I want to talk to your teacher in private for a bit. Scooch? Sae draws the art teacher aside, and they talk in hushed tones for a while. I can't hear what they're saying, but over her shoulder I can see the lines around the corners of her mouth tighten, as she motions with her hands in time with her words. The expression on her face is... What kind of expression is it? I couldn't say. Once they're done discussing whatever they had to discuss, they give one another a serious look. I feel something that goes beyond mere words is transpiring there. They walk back to us. Sae looks seriously at Rin, her left hand reaching as if instinctively towards a pack of cigarettes that's lying on the table. She picks up the pack and extracts one, looking at it absent-mindedly, as if only now realizing she did so, and then puts it back. Finally, she locks eyes with Rin, evaluating her once more. All right, little kitten. I'm going to believe in you. I will display your paintings in here, but from what I can see, this is not enough. You don't really have a cohesive theme, and you don't have enough of the good stuff. You're going to have to work hard to actually get something that we can put on exhibit here. I know. It's a good thing my gallery is so small, no? Rin already spends pretty much every free waking moment she has painting. How's it possible to work any harder? She'd have to skip classes to do more than she already does. And how can anyone work that much? Silence falls in the gallery after my words. Sae looks at the art teacher, who is looking contemplatively at his star student. I look at all three of them, confused. It's doable. What do you mean? I mean, the school is special. The board puts great value on things such as this. I'm sure I could arrange some leave for her. It's not unprecedented by any means. I'll discuss it with her parents too, but they've been quite supportive. However, it might be a bit of a stretch to get working space for her at the school if she's not actually going to attend classes. Actually, I was thinking about this before. Do you use the place upstairs for anything? No, I don't. Haven't since back then. It's more like a landfill than an atelier now. Upstairs? I own a small atelier apartment on the top floor of this building, but it hasn't been in use for... Goodness, it's been so long, hasn't it? Her eyes leap to Nomiya, who has a strange, muted expression on on his face. Indeed. Do you think... Even Nomiya, in all his brashness, has trouble coming straight out with the question. Sae, of course, sees through him and throws up her hands, sighing deeply. I guess I can't say no, can I? Very well. I'll lend you the use of that place as well, if needed. It's not like I really use it. Excellent. I knew I could count on you. Don't celebrate yet. It really is a mess, so don't be shocked when you first see it. However, you can use it as you see fit. Since it's an atelier, it already has easels and things like that. You'll only need your own tools and materials, and to somehow clean it up a bit. It's not habitable, though, so I can't let you live there. I doubt your school or parents would allow that in any case. Okay. However, it's convenient to crash there overnight if necessary. I won't mind. Ha ha ha! Most excellent, isn't it, Tezuka? He enthusiastically pats Rin on the shoulder, laughing in relief and happiness, as if all this good fortune landed on him personally. Sae smiles as well, perhaps more amused by the old teacher's glee than anything else. Oh dear, Shinichi, this really is like back then. Are you sure we all haven't bitten off more than we can chew? She looks at Rin, who seems to be oddly subdued despite all this. I hope it'll be worth it, kitten. She holds out her hand as if to shake Rin's, but realizes the impossibility and quickly moves to pat her on the shoulder. Rin looks back at her silently, her eyes serious and impenetrable like the dark of night. Debating whether or not I should stop the episode here. I'll keep going a little bit, why not? Rin applies for, and thanks to Nomiya's pressuring of the principal, I'm sure, is granted leave for the rest of the term for exceptional extracurricular activities. She has to make up for it during the summer vacation, but she doesn't seem to mind. Rin will still be able to eat and sleep at school, of course, she just doesn't have to go to the classes. I'm not entirely sure if I envy her or not. It all makes me feel anxious somehow. It's the last day of school for Rin. I feel like I should send her off with a word of encouragement, or at least say something. It was sort of due to my influence that she decided to dive headfirst into this after all. My class ends a good 20 minutes early, so I walk down to the lobby and buy a can of juice, and just sit down on the bench and wait for Rin. Well, I pull out a novel from my bag and search for the place I was at. Time stretches comfortably over the warm afternoon while I sip idly from my orange juice and read a few chapters of the book. The plot doesn't seem to advance at all, but it's all the same for me. The bell rings to end the school day and the students shuffle to club meetings or outside. Nobody notices me sitting on the bench with my nose in a book. I keep watch for Rin, but I don't see her familiar face or red-tinted hair passing by. I check my watch 20 minutes past the end of class when the lobby is all but emptied of people again. Even Rin should have already managed to get out of class, but either I missed her walking by or she never came downstairs. Perhaps she went to the art club room for some last-minute things instead, or got held back by her strict homeroom teacher. I haven't really waited that long, but having grown tired of it already, I decided to go find her myself. I stuff my book back in the bag and throw the now empty juice can in the trash bin, and then climb upstairs. The hallway is eerily quiet, as if there are no club rooms apart from the art room nearby. I check there first, but not even the teacher is in. Coming back towards the stairwell, I quietly knock on the door of 3-4 and push the door open to peek in. Yellow sunbeams cross the classroom, falling across the floor. The dust and chalk floating slowly in the air make the light almost palpable. The entire room bathes in the gentle light shining through the windows, washing the shadows away. Only one person is inside the classroom. Rin sits in what I assume is her seat, next to the window in the third row. Her head rests against the desk. I wonder if she slept through it all. Apparently, not even Emmy had the heart, or maybe the capability, to wake her up. I close the door quietly, walking past the neat, even rows of desks. I go over to where she sits. Rin? My mouth is suddenly so dry, the word comes out as a tiny whisper. She doesn't answer, so I sit my bag down on the floor next to hers and lean over to look at her face. Rin's eyes are peacefully closed, long eyelashes projecting thin shadows onto her cheeks. Her mouth is slightly open, letting me hear the quiet sound of her breathing. Her usually messy hair is even more so today, lying in complete disarray over half of her face and forehead. Her bag is lying at her feet like a forgotten rag doll. A few books and pens have fallen out of it near her seat. The scene makes me smile a little. I touch Rin's head lightly, sweeping a few stray hairs off of her ear. Her hair feels warm against my palm. Rin stirs, and I retract my hand on reflex, feeling embarrassed for touching her so casually. She looks so vulnerable, like any sleeping person. It's impossible not to feel fondness towards her. I sit on the desktop of whoever is in front of Rin and draw the windows slightly open to get some fresh air in. Hopefully it'll wake her up and I won't need to resort to cruder methods. Animation. She doesn't wake up, but I didn't really expect her to. Looking at her makes me feel tired as well. To be honest, I wouldn't mind a quick nap either, but I content myself with leaning against the large window. The glass is warm against my ear and cheek, as these windows face west towards the setting afternoon sun. That afternoon light is slowly melting into Rin's auburn hair, softening her outline so that she seems to be fading into her surroundings. The minute twitches of her muscles, her hair swaying in the air current, the even rhythm of her breathing, it all gives a strong impression of a dreaming girl. Like all sleeping people, Rin looks like she's away from this world in some distant dream country. With her, it doesn't feel so obvious that she would ever come back. She seems so detached from her surroundings even when she's awake. In fact, she has the same kind of air around her when the realization hits my consciousness without warning. Rin sometimes looks like that when she's painting. Her focused expression gives the same feeling of being on the other side of some imaginary gap as looking at her sleeping face does. I feel a pain in my chest. There's no way I can close that gap and be on the same level with her. It hurts, even though I know that it's impossible for any two people to truly understand each other. But Rin, she's almost literally in another world when she's talking about art, thinking about art, or making art. It's a world that I, or anyone else really, can't share with her, just like the world of dreams. Rin still doesn't show any sign of waking up, so I'm faced with the decision to either rouse her myself or wait for her to awaken on her own. I choose the latter. Waiting is something I'm good at. I found that out during my hospitalization. But even hospital ward was more lively than the school after classes are over. The only sounds in this place are the loud ticking of the clock above the door and the distant voices of students down on the grounds. A genuine summer breeze blows inside from the window I cracked open, full of warmth and carrying in the scent of light. I look outside to see what it came from, but I'm dazzled almost instantly. The window glass seems to trap all the sunlight within, making it painful to look that way. All I can glimpse through the window are dark silhouettes of the trees and the wall around the campus against the setting sun's radiance. As I turn back to watch Rin, she stirs again. A single tear worms down from the corner of her eye, slowly making its way across her face before it falls onto the desk. It's tiny, barely a droplet, but it captivates me. Another tear follows the first, and then a third. A feeling of anxiety overcomes me, petrifying me on the spot. It's so strange, seeing Rin's face peaceful as she sleeps, at the same time as tears stream down her cheeks, wetting the wooden desktop she rests her head on. I don't know what to do, so I do nothing. I just watch the tears roll one by one down her face. I wonder what she's dreaming about. Rin wakes up after one final flinch, or perhaps because of the tears. She sits upright and yawns so excessively it looks like her jaw might dislocate. She notices my presence, but her reaction is more like the lack of any reacting at all. It's just an acknowledgement, no startled gasp or anything. Hello. Good morning. She's so groggy she can't even return my smile that I somehow can't stretch to be entirely honest. Rin notices her wet cheeks and then quickly wipes them on the shoulders of her shirt. It seems like she isn't surprised at all or flustered by them. You cried in your sleep. Bad dream? No, it's nothing like that. It's something I've learned to do from other people. It's a funny story. I'll tell you later. On second thought, not really that funny at all. I guess I won't tell you. Did you want something, or did you just come to watch me sleep? I wanted to see you after classes. Oh, well, it's after classes now, and I'm seeing you right here. Yeah, I just wanted to say good luck or something. I figure the upcoming weeks are going to be a lot of work for you. Thanks. Rin yawns again and blinks a few times. I feel weird. Didn't really sleep much last night at all. Butterflies in your stomach? What? No. I mean, yes. I know what that means. Butterflies. Don't really feel so good now. It'll be fine. You were so confident. Someday it'll bite you in the ear. I'll look forward to it. I think I have to go. I promised Miss Sayanji I'd go there straight after school, and now is after school. Is it okay if I come by sometime? I guess you're planning to work long hours, so if you prefer to avoid distractions... It's okay. It's not a distraction. Not like Emmy. Don't bring her with you, though. I wouldn't like that this time. I told her to stay away. I see. Alright then. Rin stands up and silently walks to the door, with me following behind. The school's empty hallways, devoid of the usual crowd of students, feel very lonely. It's only a few hours since school has ended, but the building seems to be all but deserted. Our footsteps are all that intrudes upon the stillness of the hallways. The change is sudden, but it shows how the building is just an empty shell, dead without its students and teachers to liven it up. It's like the school has become a private world for just the two of us, a desolate place filled with silence and chalk dust. I'm going to change. She says this out of the blue while we walk down the stairs from the third floor. It makes me wonder how she views this challenge that lies ahead of her. That's what people must do sometimes. That's the last thing we say to each other that day, even though there's so much that we could talk about. And even those words drown in the all-encompassing silence, disappearing into the stagnant air as if they were never said. That was kind of a downer, wasn't it? Yeah. I think we're going to call it here, folks. So, for episode 11 of Let's Play Katawa Shoujo Rin's Path, I'm your host, NeoMegaMan. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. And I'm signing off. End of line.